Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. Yay! Daily Dish time. It's Tuesday. Jocelyn's already here in the house. And I know you're starting to walk on in. And I appreciate the fact that you show up for this show because it is live on Tuesday. And today we have a very interesting show. I want you to notice how our quotes of the week that we put out every Tuesday dovetail so beautifully into what today's subject is about. I just want you to notice that. Now, of course, it is Black Friday, and what would a Black Friday be without an incredible sale? And I thought one of the things that I could really help you out with this holiday season, we're in the midst of it already, is cravings. And you know, my favorite thing for cravings, of course, is Crave powder. Crave powder or Crave water. Only difference is that Crave water has a delicious lemonade flavor and Crave powder is just completely plain. Fact is, I use both of them interchangeably always because I love them. And I'm going to tell you something right now. This obliterates cravings. And when you have a buy one, get one free, hello, when it helps heal your gut, when it helps with muscle soreness and tenderness, hello, this is what you want. Buy one, get one. Find it at savingdinner.com/show. Now, if you buy 3, you will get 3 free. And guess what? You will also get free shipping. So that's the score. Look at who's here. My mother hen is here. Listen, those little fuzzy socks, can I tell you how much I've been loving them? So wonderful. And I'm bringing Caroline's to her today too. So thank you for those, Nancy. That's so sweet. And believe me, the steak is on the way for Mark. She's so sweet. Anyway, back to the whole thing. I want you to take advantage of our Black Friday sale. We have a good amount. However, you know how it is. It goes fast and people are buying it up. Karen, hello. Good to see you. This is what I want you to do. I want you to buy it up. I want you to have this. I want you to have this in your arsenal because it is that incredible. Helps heal your gut, it helps with brain clarity. It also, there are studies being done right now on how it helps with weight loss. So girls and boys and women, countrymen, all of you, get on it. L-glutamine is an amino acid, and it is that effective. Lots of science behind it. savingdinner.com/show. Do not forget, you buy one, you're going to get one. You buy 3, you're going to get 3, and you're going to get free shipping if you live in the continental U.S. Bam! Also, I've seen a lot of you already, you're still getting this, and I don't blame you because the holidays are upon us in a big, big way. And guess what? You do not need to lose the joy, but you do need to lose the crazy, right? That's what this whole thing is about. Look at this big monster thing. You can order it like this, or you can order it in the PDF mode and just print what you want. You do it. You do it. Did you see what Nancy said? She said, my doctor says your products are so pure. And Jenny popped it up. Of course they are. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Because they are. They're wonderful. And we stand behind them, and I'm very proud of the things that we have created. There's a lot of good stuff there. But anyway, I also want you to know that this planner is still available. You can get it immediately for delivery. Go to savingdinner.com/planner. And don't forget, it is possible to have a joyful holiday without all the crazy making. This is going to help you do it. Okay? The last thing, of course, is guess what's happening in 2 days? I'll think on that for a minute. Oh yeah, Thanksgiving. Our little table just went from 4 to 6, and now we have another 3, 4, 5 coming for dessert. So we're going to have 11 people. And I'm so glad. I love it when that happens. But I also love having my ducks in a row, or in this case, my turkeys in a row. My Thanksgiving planner is classic. Classic, my friends. You can find it at savingdinner.com/Thanksgiving. It's not just, here's your recipes. It's recipes. It's a menu plan. It is the shopping list. It is the timeline on how to get everything on the table at the same time, right? And it's also a troubleshooting guide. Everything is there for you. Grab it. It's classic. It's been around forever. And every single recipe in there, delicious. If I didn't make Muzzy's wonderful stuffing, I think, I don't know. I think the sky would fall. savingdinner.com/Thanksgiving. And do share it with a friend, y'all. I'm going to tell you, share it with a friend. The quote of the week today is from the incredible Rosa Parks. You remember what she did in her courage and her bravery? She sat in the front of the bus instead of the back of the bus where they told her to sit. And she said this: I have learned over the years, when one's mind is made up, this diminishes fear. Knowing what must be done goes away. It does away with fear. How appropriate. Because today we're going to talk about fear versus courage. Courage and versus bravery, and the difference between them, because there is a difference. And I was really excited about this because it made me think in different terms about these things. We often use the word courage and bravery interchangeably, but that's not necessarily appropriate. You ready for this? This is a good one, especially those of us who maybe have stand back a little, haven't really spoken up as much as we need to. It's a good thing. Now, for those of you who were here and are Nancy, Nancy, it just meant the world to me that you were here. Thank you so much for showing up. And Anne was here, and we had Sue here as well. Did I get everybody who was here from our group? I think I did. Good grief. She is just, I just appreciate so much. And they had a chance to meet Rhonda Britton. Now, Rhonda is my partner in crime. This is her book, one of the books she's written, Fearless Living. And I cannot recommend this highly enough, in her programs and everything else. She's a genius. And, God has, talk about reframing one's lives. Talk about bringing beauty out of ashes. This woman has been through it, and her story and her speaking and everything, and the workshops that she taught at this last Saturday, it was 2 Saturdays ago, I guess, wasn't it? Good grief, it's been a while. It was just incredible. Anyway, Autumn, hi, it's good to have you here. And Linda, you too. But anyway, I just really highly recommend this as a resource for those of you who are, living in a lot of fear. This woman, Rhonda Britton, will show you that it's possible to go without. Seriously. All right, so let's talk about this idea of bravery versus courage, because we need both. It's not one versus the other. It's not, this is just a synonym for one, this one or that one. It's not. It's actually that we need both things. So let's just talk about what it is, because each of them play a crucial role in the way that we navigate life's challenges. And hello, anyone have a life challenge ever in their lives? Of course you do. We all live in this place of challenges. And if we are to live a more bolder, a more fuller life, then we need to get on to this thing and understand that bravery versus courage, bravery and courage. We need both. Hi, Kathy, by the way. Good to see you. It's Rhonda Britton is who I'm talking about. Rhonda Britton. And she co-hosted the workshop that we just did, Next Chapter, on November 16th. So it was something. And if you were there, then you know all about it. So let's look at what the difference is between bravery and courage. The first thing is that bravery is the act of facing fear. You've seen this, for example, somebody runs into a burning building to rescue a person or whatever. That is an act of bravery. You get in there and you get it done. It is a burst of boldness that just comes out of nowhere. It's the man or the woman actually who pulls a car off a child or something. You know about these things. We've seen these acts of courage, and we've, medals of valor have been given for them. But it's an action that you take despite feeling the fear. The overriding principle then is that, yes, there's a threat here, and yes, there's all kinds of stuff going on, but it's instinctual, it's reactive, and we are going to get this job done regardless of the fear. That's what bravery is. That's what bravery, and we've all been in that place of just having to do something. I've saved 2 people from choking before, and it was the fear that I had of, what if I do it wrong? What if I break a rib? The overriding thing was, this person needs to be saved, and they're choking and they're turning blue. So I Heimlicked them as best I could, and it worked. But for me nobody was stepping up, so I bolted and did it. And that's what bravery does. It makes us take on the risk of doing it. But courage is that inner strength to persist. And I think a lot of us look at ourselves and just say, oh, I just don't have it. But I'm going to tell you, yes, you do. Dig deeper. Yes, you do. It's a sustained commitment to face adversity. And I don't care what that adversity is named in your life. We all have something, some dragon that needs slaying. It could be something smallish. It could be something large. It could be something that's dogged us all of our lives. But if we just shrink back and allow it to win over our persistence, we always lose. Guarantee, it's always a loss. So fear that's how we face that fear, is with this idea, this inner fire that we all have of courage. And oftentimes it involves calculated decisions and moral fortitude. And usually the stakes are high. Usually it means you got to give something up or overcome something. It means being uncomfortable. It means getting off the couch and stop hanging out in the comfort zone. And it also requires a softer side of you, the vulnerability side, to admit that something isn't working. And it's not going to ever take you to the place that you want to go. It requires resilience, and it requires the willingness to endure, because discomfort is something that we immediately want to run from. We immediately want to seek that comfort again. That's our amygdala, by the way. Our amygdala is like, no. Risk. I don't like it. I don't want to be uncomfortable. Weirdly, but if we have been conditioned into an uncomfortable type of thing that is a habit, of, like, let's say, just scarfing a whole package of Oreos every day. There you go. And that's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to give that up. Does that make sense? Do you see how weird that is all wrapped around? So, but I will say this, that when you persist through, like, if you have to persist through something, like you're battling a disease, or you're battling some kind of an illness, or you're fighting against social injustice or some kind of a thing, and your side wins, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's something when you persist and you stay the course. And what we've learned is how that completely rewires the brain as well. Really incredible. So if we look at what's the key difference, then bravery is the act of action, is all about action, and courage is about your moral fortitude. It's about your inner strength. It's about endurance. Big difference. But they both come into play as you build your life as being the queen of your own life, because being the queen of your own life, that regality requires that you step up in the face of fear, and that you not only step up in the face of fear, but that you endure and bring on the courage to keep you going. So we need both, right? We need both of these. So bravery, remember, sparks immediate action. And it's essential when A quick start is needed. It's essential when you're pulling a car off of somebody. But bravery, this is the other thing that you need to know. Bravery overrides the amygdala's fear because it requires your prefrontal cortex. And this is where we always want to go. When we are operating off of our amygdalas, we're not operating off of coming from a place of this is the best thing for you. It's just out of fear that we do these things. It's out of fear that something should change, that it's a risk, blah, blah, blah. And if we look at it this way and understand, wait a minute, I'm abdicating the throne of my life to fear, then things start to shift and things start to change. So, and then when we understand that courage is the thing that is going to sustain this action of bravery, then we can start to plug that into the holes. Because the thing is, and this is the thing that I want you to look at, this is the science behind it. Research on resilience shows that those who persist in the face of adversity activate brain pathways linked to self-regulation, meaning making, and emotional control. And I don't know about you, but to me, those things are all a gift because it blesses my life with more. It creates more opportunity, more space, more solutions, better relationships. It creates a bridge to all that trouble that we have in our lives. When we default to easy and just sever a relationship or just say, no, I'm just not going to do that anymore, whatever, then we find ourselves in a place of just doing the same old thing, not growing. And courage is the stuff that causes your character to grow and to become beautiful and for you to become the queen of your own life. And that's what it's all about. So how do we cultivate this? The first thing is, one, we've got to build self-awareness. Are you aware of this? Are you aware of the acts of bravery that you have in your life? I'll give you a small one. Here's an act of bravery: speaking up when something isn't right. Instead of just shutting up and not saying anything, one small act of bravery is saying, you know what? I'm really not happy with this haircut. Or you know what? Excuse me. I don't like my meal. Can I get something else? Instead of putting up and shutting up, saying something. It is an act of bravery, especially for a lot of women who this is their default mechanism, always learning to just put on that happy face like we were told when we were kids, right? It's also an opportunity to reframe. It's also an opportunity to reframe fear as an opportunity. I know that sounds weird. But instead of avoiding fear, you can see it as a signal for you to grow. Because there it is again. It's not like it hasn't shown up before. You've seen this fear before. Usually we experience these things over and over again, and we don't understand exactly what that's going on. But if we are self-aware, we can say, what can I learn from this situation? What is this about? How is this affecting me? And when we do this reframe, guess what happens with our amygdala? Calms it right down. And the amygdala is responsible for the fight or flight response with our nervous system, putting us in stress overload, getting the cortisol going, and just, the whole thing. We don't want that. What we want is ultimately some control over our emotions, over the way that it is that we feel, and what we can contribute to society, to our job, to our relationships, to our lives. This is what it means to be the queen of your own life, by the way. This is how the royalty does it. This is how noble a cause bravery and courage are. And so if we start with these small acts of courage or bravery, like I was talking about, like learning to speak up, we start to build those little wins into our lives. And guess what that does? It creates confidence. And confidence is going to help encourage and nurture courage. Look at the word encourage. N and the word courage. Creating courage in your life. That's what that does. It envelops the inside of you. Isn't that amazing? I love that. I just saw that right now. And, I'm saying, oh, encourage, courage. They go together. Woo, who knew? And it also, if we commit to a bigger purpose that's bigger than ourselves, then guess what? We see that courage is often tied to a sense of meaning. So, and this is the science behind it. Studies show that people with a strong sense of purpose are more resilient, less prone to stress, and more likely to persevere. If we can endure through hardships because of courage, we are going to come out on the other side of it. Better, different, yes, more learned, and having the ability to take the control of our lives that we want to. Now, when I say that, I'm not talking about being a controlling person. I'm talking about taking back the part of our lives that we often abdicate to, like fear. We abdicate responsibility for making a decision by not making decisions, for example. These little things completely change and shift the way we think about ourselves. And when we're taking full responsibility for ourselves, we are queens of our own lives. We get to direct a lot of things that before we were just abdicating to. Make sense? And the other thing is, if I would be absolutely remiss if I did not mention that we have to surround ourselves with like-minded people, people who are interested in pursuing courage as well, people who are interested in getting past the hardship and really creating the lives that they want to lead as well. You can't do it without courage because it's never, ever, ever going to be comfortable. It means that we have to leave our comfort zone. It means that we have to leave behind the fear that holds us back. And what I say about fear is that fear is such a weird thing because we can't get completely 100% fearless. And if we think that we can, then we're going to go into perfectionism, which is going to take us down a different rabbit hole. And I say to you, as you're listening to this, to remember that fear can be shrunk down to itsy bitsy pieces. And you just look at it and go, yeah, you again, little pest. It's like having an ant at a picnic, not a whole army, but an ant at a picnic. Flick it away. We get to do that kind of stuff. So where do we find bravery and courage? Where? Tap into your values. Your values are dictating exactly what it is that you want in your life if you hold fast to them. And I'm going to tell you this, that no one can abdicate their values to somebody else's value system. It doesn't work that way. You got to understand that your values are your foundation for your courage, right? And it looks different with everybody else. Don't be comparing yourself to everyone. That never works. But if you do start to look at and reflect on what truly matters, then you find your why, you find your purpose, and courage is always at the very top of the list of things that you need to get there. It's a tool. We need tools and we need skills. If you were there on Saturday, a few Saturdays ago when we had our workshop, tools are important, but if you don't know how to use the tools and you don't have the skills to use them, then they're worthless. So courage is a tool, and the skill is understanding that it needs to be plugged into your values. It needs to be plugged into everything it is that you're doing, because that is the thing that promotes the change that we're looking for. If we're to be the queens of our own lives, we have to realize this and understand this in a big, big way. Well, hello, Karen. It's good to see you. And look at role models. There are role models all around us. There are people that we say, oh, I love the way that they're living their lives. I love that she never holds back and she says what she means, but she's never cruel or mean or whatever. That's not you comparing yourself to her, but you're looking at that person as an example. It's a good thing. When we can see somebody who displays characteristics and traits that we want, it's fine to look at them. Not say, oh, I wish I could be like them. I'm such a weasel. I can't do it. Stop it. Let their stories inspire you. And if you were there, Rhonda's, if that wasn't inspirational, nothing is. Nothing. The other thing is we have to practice self-compassion. It doesn't feel good to self-flagellate. It doesn't help. It doesn't do anything. Beating yourself up is a cop-out. You heard me. It is a cop-out. What are we doing? Putting all that energy into all of that. It's garbage. It's complete garbage. When you're kind to yourself during failure, it's only then that you can extrapolate the lesson. It's when you stop and say, okay, so hold the phone here. I'm not going to be the poster child for all of this garbage over here. I want to learn from it. That's courage, my friend. Courage is pulling out the experience and saying, this is what I learned from that. And guess what happens too? You don't go back into that place. You end up in the place and in the situation of understanding that you're human, you goofed, and you learned. That's courage. And the last thing is, unless you do this, unless you're engaging with regular self-reflection, I mean journaling, meditating on your fears, on your triumphs, on what's going on, you can't see the patterns and you can't see your strengths either, because you have them. We all have them. Everything that we need is already packed inside. Do you have the courage to open the box and use the tools? Because the skills will present themselves as needed. Do you hear me on that? So how do we, Anne, hello. I was just talking about you and everybody who was here. If we're to live with bravery and courage daily, we need to, number one, start taking risks, right? Don't shrink back, step forward. This is how we live with both the acts of bravery and the resilience of courage. We start immediately by getting off the couch and doing the one thing. And I'm going to tell you, starting an exercise program, act of courage. Starting the sprint, act of courage. Starting to do something that is combating something that you used to do, which was in the comfort zone and has gotten you nowhere, is an act of courage. It's an act, well, let's put it to you this way. It's an act of bravery to start. It's an act of courage to stay with it. And I'm going to tell you, there's not a soul on this planet who doesn't have the capacity for it. And I want you to think about that. I want you to think about that as you dismiss yourself, as you say, I can't, it's too hard, as you say, find too many obstacles and blah, blah, blah. I want you to start thinking about what's inside of you. Who created you? Why are you here? Are you here on purpose and for purpose? Are you fearfully and wonderfully made? Is there a reason that you're here at this time for this reason? Yes, 100 times. So girlfriend, step up. It's time for an act of bravery. It's time for consistent courage to live the life you are meant to live and to be the queen of your own life. I'm going to tell you, you've got to celebrate your wins. You got to have some stretch goals, and you need to speak your truth. Stop shrinking back. When we shrink back, we give our power away to whomever is there. You know, stand up. Stand up. This is your life we're talking about. Now, you're going to see in the show notes, if you get the show notes, there's going to be a whole bunch of bonus stuff on the science of bravery and courage. But I want to leave you with this. Bravery and courage are essential for being the queen of your own life. Bravery is going to get you there. It's going to get you to that very first step. Okay? Act 1. But Act 2 is majorly important. Now that you've done it, it's time to sustain it. And that's what courage does. And courage is that thing that's inside of you. Together, they will allow you to confront the fears, to embrace growth, and move forward with purpose and resilience. So step boldly into your power. It's time to be the queen of your life. And sometimes that power means, forgive me, but it's true, saying something at the Thanksgiving table to somebody who's just maybe needs a little something said to them. Do it in love, but do it courageously and be the queen of your own life, because that's what it's all about. All right, Jeanette, hello. Good to have you here. And thank you so much for joining me today. I wish you all a delightful, wonderful Thanksgiving. Do not forget about our Black Friday sale. As long as supplies last, it is going fast, by the way. So I'm Crave Water, Crave Powder, going really fast. Buy one, get one free. Buy three, get three free, and free shipping. All the rest. Thanksgiving menu, blah, blah, blah. We have all the things. So go check out the announcements. I appreciate all of you so much, and I'll see you around. See you on social media. Peace be with you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.